All right, so let's get a little warm up going on. So first thing is that we're gonna start with a hip hinge. So we're gonna push those hips back as far as we can, reach that chest out forward. So you get a good stretch through your hamstrings, through those glutes. If this is your first time getting up today, you should definitely be feeling that. So go ahead and come up out of that. Think about squeeze your glutes at the top. I'm gonna go one more time, push those hips back. Stretch those hamstrings. Try to get those legs as straight as you can. Really push those knees backwards. Try to get length through that backside. Bring it up, squeeze those glutes. All right, one last time, push those hips back. In this hinged over position, we're going to let our arms come down. What we're going to do is think about pulling our shoulder blades back. I'm just getting a few, just kind of like you're doing a horizontal shrug. All right, so notice my shoulders not coming up by my ears, but rather they're going 90 degrees in the vertical position. All right, let's go ahead and hinge that back up, squeeze those glutes. We're kind of building here. Hinge back, extend those legs, extend those arms. Now, this time we're going to do those bent over T's. So we're going to shrug those shoulders out, and we're going to open those arms out to that T. Squeeze, arms go down, shoulders go down. And we'll reverse that again. You're going to get a few bent over T's here. Those thumbs should be going towards the ceiling as we open up for those T's. That should promote that external rotation of that shoulder. So we like to sit with it very internally rotated throughout the day. Make sure we're squeezing those shoulder blades together. I'm going to go one more here. Big squeeze, down, and bring it back up. All right. I want to work on those, that upper body a little bit more, those shoulders. So what we're going to do is what we call an Arnold press. So we're going to start with those palms facing toward us just like this. We're going to open those arms, push up, do like you were to do like a lat pull down, and bring those arms back together. All right, so we're opening that chest, pressing up, pulling down, pulling together. Okay, so be very active in this. I want to think about squeezing those shoulder blades together just like we did with those T's, pressing up like you would do a overhead press. All right, pull down like you're doing a lat pull down or pull up, and then pulling those arms back together. So it should feel a lot of musculature around those shoulders in that upper back, all activating. So we're just going to get a few more here. All right, try not to just go through and move those arms. All right, I want you to be very intentional, opening up, pressing up, pulling down, pulling together. We're going to go one more time. Open, squeeze it. Press, pull it down, squeeze it together. Yeah. Got some juice in those shoulders? I sure do. All right. And the last one, we're going to do the hip hinge. So we're going to, let's do this standing. So if you have a chair or a countertop or something, this will probably work better. I'm going to attempt to do it freestanding. So if you have something to hold on to it, do that same hinge, okay? We're going to kick one leg back, all right? And then what we're going to try to do is open that hip and try to rotate that chest as far open as you can, all right? And then this hip, we're going to work to close that hip, all right? So if you want to think about the toes on that back leg, you want to open those toes at 90 degrees, all right? And we're going to close it 180 degrees all the way around to the other side. All right, open that hip. Close that hip. One more time. Open. And close. And relax. We'll go to the other side here. So we start with the hinge or an RDL. All right. So your toes should be pointed straight at the ground in this position, your chest pointed straight at the ground in this position. We're going to open it 90 degrees to the outside. All right, 180 degrees, or as close to 180 as you can all the way across. Open it all the way open. And close. One more time, open it up, and close, and relax. All right, so what we are going over today, like I said, you need a pair of weights, or if you only have a single weight, we can make it work, no worries. We're going to start with the legs, and then we're going to go for the arms to kind of finish it up. Okay, so we have 2 different AMRAPs today. They're just going to be 3 minutes long, and we're going to cycle between both of them twice. Again, just so you have a heads up of what to expect, but we'll do it all together, so don't you worry. So let's actually do it without any weights first. Just kind of go over the movements. First is the deadlift. So you're going to have your weights in your hands. You're just going to hinge over. All right, remember that deadlift position, just like that hip hinge. All right, that's why we warmed up with that hip hinge. You're pushing those hips back. You're trying to extend it through the hamstrings. Okay, and then you're focused on squeezing those glutes at the top. Okay, so hinging down, those weights are going to be right by your side, or if you have a single weight, you're just going to be holding that together between your feet, hinging up. Okay, that's your deadlift, that's your first movement. Second movement is just going to be your reverse lunge. So those dumbbells are holding like suitcases, one on either side, just stepping back together, stepping back the other leg together. Okay, the count is 4 and 4, so we're doing 4 deadlifts, 4 reverse lunges. Okay, that's the game plan. 3 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and grab those weights. We'll go ahead and get ready. And 3, 2, 1, and go. So whatever pace you are comfortable going with, you have 4 good deadlifts, and then 4 reverse lunges. Those reverse lunges are going to be 4 total. So we'll have left, right, or to each side, and then back to those deadlifts. All right, so our goal is going to be try to hold on to those weights for the whole time. If you need to break at any time in the middle of this, all right, please feel free to put those weights down for a second. We're just going to get a little bit more of that whole body working here to kind of to raise that internal temperature, get us nice and warm. And if you need to, all right, if you've got 2 weights that are relatively heavy, if you want to start off with just the 1 weight and kind of build yourself up. Once you kind of get a couple rounds in, and you feel like going from 0 to the full weight was a lot, we can stick with that 1 dumbbell or 1 kettlebell for a round or 2, and then you can step up as needed. All right? As always, this is your workout, so I want you to do whatever you feel comfortable with in terms of where your fitness is. And we're going to try to get those arms long in that suitcase carry. So we're going to try to promote a little bit of grip strength versus a lot of times we do our lunges in that goblet position or in that front rack position. I do want you to really try to get that suitcase position down low. Just again, promote some of that grip strength. All right, so we got about 45 seconds to work through here. Finish about another round or 2 if you've got it in you. 4 and 4. Definitely turn that temperature up a little bit. And we'll get our last one in here, final 10 seconds. Last 3, 2, 1, and relax. Ooh. Take a quick sip of water if you have it. We'll shake that out. And we're going to talk about what our second set of movements are. Like I said, we're going to go a little bit towards the upper body. You just need a single weight for this one. As last time, we're going to talk about doing this without any weight first, and then we'll add the weight to it, okay? So first is going to be that same hip hinge that we've been working with, okay? It's going to be a single arm row, okay? Think about that row just again like we did those T's. We started with that shoulder shrug and then pulled back. So same thing with that row. Think about pulling that shoulder back and then drawing that elbow straight up, all right? So shoulder comes up and then drawing that elbow up. You have 2 rows, all right? Then we're going to stand up and we're going to do a clean. So clean, we're going to do a hang clean technically. So it's going to come from basically your suitcase position up to that shoulder, okay? If you have light enough dumbbells and you want to just do a strict bicep curl, I'm not going to say no to that, but with that clean, we usually want to get a little bit more of that hip drive into it as we pull up to that shoulder, okay? Bicep curl should not be the limiting factor here. So think about squeezing those glutes to pull that up, okay? So the clean, again, from below the hips to that shoulder. Once we're at that shoulder position, we have 2 overhead press, okay? Then we come back down on the other side. So it's going to be 2 rows, all right? 2 good cleans, and then 2 overhead press, okay? Same rules as last time. We have 3 minutes. We're going to be cycling through this as many times as possible in those 3 minutes. Sound good? All right. So get your weights. We're going to start about 10 seconds. Make sure that we're keeping that hinge very strong on that row. All right? Grab those weights up and ready. 2, 1, and go for it. 2 good rows. Stand all the way up. 2 cleans. And 2 good press. And then we'll switch to the other side. Hinge over. 2 good rows. 2 cleans. 2 press. So I'm keeping my opposite hand on my belly button. That is just to remind me to keep those abs nice and tight as I go through, which I highly recommend you do as well. So if we need to slow these movements down, as always, slow those movements down. And if you got any variations you want to try, certainly go for it. Just check the angle of that elbow on those rows, on those overhead press. So we can do a tight press with that elbow pointed forward, or we're going to do an open press with that elbow out nice and wide. All right? Either of those are fine in this situation. 2 and 2. 2. All right. Coming down. Got just over a minute left. And as we're probably pretty warm from that first 3 minutes from those legs, we're going to try to move this one a little bit closer. We'll get that heart rate up as we finish strong here. Boom. Coming in final minute, just under a minute. 30 seconds left. Remember that shoulder, pulling that shoulder back on those rows. Abs tight, specifically, or especially on those overhead press. Just try to keep that dumbbell moving through this whole time. Final 10 seconds. Last 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. So shake that out. We'll be able to do that all over again. So if you feel like you need to make some modifications, you'll have another chance. We're going to take a quick break. All right, now we're gonna go for our round 2. So we're gonna take our minute of rest. I'm actually gonna take these grips off my dumbbell because that really was tough on my grip strength. All right, so we're gonna go back to the deadlift, reverse lunge combo. You got about 10 seconds to get yourself ready. It's gonna be 3 more minutes, 1 more minute of rest after that, and then we'll finish with that same complex we just did. All right, dumbbells, kettlebells up and ready. In 3, 2, 1, and go for it. 4 good deadlifts. And 4 reverse lunges. So this time we should feel nice and alive, feeling pretty mobile, feeling nice and loose. Four and 4. So again, we don't have a whole lot of reps here. So the goal is just to cycle through this as many times as we can manage in 3 minutes. Not a lot of time. We don't have a lot of volume. So we're going to make some volume by trying to go through lots of rounds. All right. Again, just trying to keep those dumbbells moving, keep those legs moving, keeping that back nice and tall, chest nice and tall. Shake those out for a second. Looking good, folks. We're just about halfway through. 90 seconds down, 90 seconds to go. I'm going to try to get right back on those weights. Those deadlifts, remember we're shooting for glutes, hamstrings. So you should feel a good long stretch through those hamstrings on those deadlifts. I'm going to drop that weight down so I can keep moving. All right. Well, we got 1 minute to go. So notice on that down, check your back. Is your back still nice and flat? Or are we hunching over like Quasimodo? Keep that chest proud. Pull those shoulder blades down and back. Good, strong position on those deadlifts. All right, so that helps maintain that tension in the hamstrings and those glutes. Make sure we don't get that lower back pain. Good, strong posterior from head to heel. Here we go, last 20 seconds, folks. Try to take it up if you haven't already. Get those last few reps in. Try to squeeze out 1 more round. Big squeeze of the glutes, top of those deadlifts. Last 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, you've got 60 seconds to take a break. Check those arms, those legs out. Bring that heart rate down a little bit. Grab some water. You working hard out there? Sure hope so. Sure hope so. We got 1 more set coming up. 3 more minutes of work. It's that same 2 rows, 2 cleans, 2 press. Again, we're going to try to cycle through that as much as we can. You got 20 seconds till we get going. All right? Whatever side you start on, not as important. Traditionally, we'll start on our non-dominant side, but we'll go back and forth through these so many times. We'll get plenty of work on each side. All right, so go ahead and grab that weight. Ready? 3 minutes. 2, 1, and let's do it. 2 good rows. All right, stand it up for some cleans and 2 good overhead press and switching sides. I'm trying to really move that dumbbell this time around. Making sure that we're staying consistent with those movements, trying to flow from one to the other. All right, we have our strength flow coming up after this, but applying a little bit of flow to our weights. It's not a terrible idea. Remember, your goal is to push the limits on this round. This 3 minutes. We are 1 minute in. We have got 2 minutes to go. So we're going to try to get what we can moving that weight. If you don't feel that heart rate moving through these, we'll try to take that up just a little bit. All right. That form is always first. Don't overlook that. Make sure everything looks good. And then we can take that speed. We can take that power up. But again, try to keep that dumbbell in consistent motion. Letting that body make those adjustments. Finding that balance. Here we go, folks. We've got 1 more minute. Final 60 seconds. And remember, check in with those abs. Make sure that our back is not leaning, not arching on those overhead press. And we're going to finish up here. Just a little over 30 seconds. See if we can get 1 more round on both sides. We're moving now, we're moving now. Feeling the warmth. The last 15 seconds, right on track. Here we go. Last 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. Way to work. Way to work. Feel good? I sure do. I sure do. All right. We're going to bring it down. We're going to stretch out a little bit. So let's go ahead and drop it to a knee. All right. We're going to hinge back. We're going to let that those toes push down into the ground. Show a nice hamstring, posterior chain stretch. If you want to, we're kind of walking those hands out as well. Should get a nice low back stretch at the same time. Almost like you're doing a child's pose with a hamstring stretch. Then we're going to hinge forward and release out of that. We'll switch sides. Pushing those hips back. Remember, pull those toes down into the ground. Trying to get as much of that hamstring, that glute stretched out as possible. And then walking those hands forward. Getting that low back stretched. Hope you folks had fun and an awesome job. I can only assume. So I'm going to bring that up. We're going to take that to our back. We're going to get a little bit more glute stretched out. So we're going to take our right ankle, put that on top of our left knee. Take our right hand, reach between our legs, grab at that left leg, and pull that into you. Should feel stretched through the right glute, the right hip. You put as much pressure on that as you need to. You're going to hang out here for about 20 seconds. Just try to relax through those hips. And we'll release out of that. We'll switch sides. Left ankle on the right knee. Both hands grabbing that right leg. Pulling that in towards you. So the biggest thing as we go through a lot of these classes, a lot of these movements, we're not there to check on you. So it's going to be really imperative to really listen to the cues that we give Make sure that you're checking in with your shoulders. Make sure you're checking in with your abs. Make sure everything is in the position that we're asking it to be. Go ahead and roll that up. We'll call that an evening for today. Awesome job, folks. If you're hanging around for Strength Flow, we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Have a good night.